Hi everybody, this video I'll be sharing with you guys a few new luxury beauty summer launches and my thoughts and my reviews on them. So if you guys are interested, do stick around. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Christina. I do product reviews on luxury beauty, skincare, and makeup. Occasionally, I might share a luxury accessory review or vlog here and there. So if you have not, press the subscribe button down below and the notification bell beside it so that you can be notified every time I upload a new video. So today, you guys, I will be sharing 3 palettes that were released this summer. These are luxury designer palettes. I'm not too sure what the time frame is for their releases, but they're all still available. I believe the Dior was the earliest. I think it was more like a spring release, but honestly I think these 3 palettes are just perfect for spring, summer, or summer, and they're all new launches, limited edition, so I thought I would compile them in one video. So usually, you guys, I've become very meticulous in choosing what new launches or new releases or new collections I will purchase to add to my current collection. Because I've been in beauty for over 10 years, I really have seen most of everything, and almost, I think I do have everything. So I'm very picky and I don't buy everything that's in the collection anymore. But what I have on right now is everything that I'll be sharing with you guys. The eyes is one of the palettes, and then on each cheek I've used one of the other palettes. So all 3 palettes are on my face right now. So all of the products are going to be linked down below. I'm going to begin with the first one, and I think this one was the one that got me. Actually, they all got me quite excited. I'm going to begin with the Tom Ford palette. So this is the Tropical Dusk palette from the Soleil de Feu collection. I'm not so sure if that's how you say it, but they launched the collection in tandem, the makeup collection in tandem with the fragrance. So it comes in this packaging. Of course, with Tom Ford, they always have the velvet pouch. So unlike the typical Tom Ford black packaging with the gold Tom Ford here, they actually have it in all gold with a gold TF, which I think is so cute. It's very different, definitely caught my eye right away. This is how the palette looks. Obviously, I've already touched it, I've played with it. I'm gonna put you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok as well. It's the same handle, and I show you the picture of the product and the live, like how it looks before I touched it. So this is essentially what I have on my eyelids right now. This is a mixture of mattes and some shimmer shades, and I'm going to show you guys the swatches. So here are the swatches of the Tropical Dusk. You have like the matte mid-tone, like rosy pink, and then you have like a champagne gold, yellow champagne gold, and then kind of more like a taupe shimmer, and then you have the dark matte brown. Beautiful formula. Sometimes when they release some limited editions, I'm not very keen on the formula. It's either there's no pigment, like the last few ones, that's why I didn't purchase any. It's so sheer, it doesn't blend well, or there's hardly any pigment. This one is pretty good, you guys, and I'm using natural light. You can see even with my eye look, I did not use this with anything else. I'm going to insert a clip in the end of me applying this with I had nothing on yet, just applying the colors, no primer, nothing, but I'm very happy with how the eyeshadow quality of the formula is. I think it's been a while since I liked the formula of a Tom Ford quad, because sadly they keep on updating or changing it. So this one retails, I believe, for 115 Canadian. Of course, in the US it's different. The US link is going to be down below. Also, I find the color story, what really drew me is the color story. I think this is so perfect for summer. If you can see right here, even 1 or 2 shades, you don't have to use all, but obviously I tried using all. This will give you such a nice look. You can go very bronzy, or just maybe like a little of the matte pink on your crease, and this champagne just to look very neutral, and a little mascara, it'll look amazing. But very happy. And then because of this beautiful matte brown, which I think can go with universally with many looks, or even on its own, you can do a nice smoky eye for summer. I think it really is pretty. And if you want a limited edition palette for this summer, definitely this is the one I would recommend. The next one is the Christian Dior Mitza palette. Now this one launched, I don't think it was particularly just for the summer. I believe it launched a bit earlier. I think it was more during the spring, but I honestly think that this is such a beautiful palette for the summer. And I think actually universally all year round, like, because it has 10 shadows, which was really, this is the first time Dior had done anything like this, but I think that was really a big seller for me. And also the fact that this is one of the new hybrid kind of products that designer brands are coming out with. They were one of the first. This is like a blush eyeshadow palette. And I have the other palette that I'm talking about is from Chanel, and lo and behold, obviously, I don't know if they copy each other, but they always do the same thing. This is an eyeshadow blush palette as well. So this is something very new that we've seen only this season. This is not particularly their summer palette as well, but still, look at the colors here. This is Tendresse, I think that's how you pronounce it. But basically, these are the two other palettes. So the Chanel I have on my right, and then the Dior I have on my left. When you see the application that I will attach afterwards, you're gonna see, you know, what I mean when I explain how these two products are, which one I prefer. So eyeshadow blush palette, that alone for the price point, I think this was like, well, it's a bit steep, but I think it was around 140, 149. But this is Dior, you're getting 10 shadows or 10 colors, which is never happened before. With their quints, like the 5 palette eyeshadows, those are 75 Canadian, I think. So it really adds up to about the same because you're getting double the amount. Now, this one, in terms of pigmentation, as you can see in my application, this is very pigmented. A little goes a long way, and then you can see the sheen. I love this formula. I think hits it out of the ballpark. I think this, like as an eyeshadow, I've tried it as an eyeshadow, and I've also tried it obviously as a blush right now. I think the pigmentation is absolutely amazing. No fallout, beautiful finish. And let me show you guys the swatches. These are the swatches of from the Mitza palette of Dior. You guys, as I was watching this, I even realized more how absolutely amazing this formula really is. Look at the sheen of these, and then look at the pigmentation. They have the mattes, the two darkest shades are mattes, and it doesn't skip, almost very even. Look at these shades. They're beautiful as eyeshadows as well. So really, with how these perform or how these look, I am super impressed with this palette. It is still available, you guys. So I've seen through the websites, the link will be down below. If you're looking for a palette that you can use for a long time, I think it's just that the colors lend themselves well to a summer look. They're bright, they're bronzy, but definitely I think all year round you'll find use for these colors, and the fact that they can be used as blush and eyeshadow is absolutely amazing. So that is the Dior Mitza palette. I highly recommend. I think if it's not just that you collect, but this is so unique because again, they've never had a 10 shadow palette, and also it's multifunctional, and if you're going on a trip, you can actually just bring this and you'll be good for blush and for eye. So definitely, again, obviously, yes, I recommend this palette. I think you're really getting a lot of mileage and use from this palette, and it's going to be worth the price that you're paying for it, especially with the quality. Okay, last but not the least, you guys, this is the quad, the oversized blush eyeshadow quad from Chanel. This is in the shade 957 Tendresse. beautiful color story. Who would not want this? This is absolutely gorgeous. And I think this one, obviously it's so perfect for summer. You have a little tan color here, a beautiful bright color, a pop of berry, and then just a nice shimmer that you can use as a highlighter. But they're also eyeshadows, so I think it's kind of, because of the dual purpose, it kind of makes it a little more worth it. Also, it is the first of its kind that Chanel has released. So again, do I recommend it? Well, if you want to have it in your collection, yeah, I think you'll get a lot of use out of this. The only thing I would say about this one, so this is the one on this side of my cheek. So this is Dior, this is the Chanel palette. This one is sheer. It's not as pigmented. Almost to the point where in the beginning I was a little underwhelmed because it was a little too sheer. Like you need to work up a lot more of the product on the brush or reapply a few more layers so that you can see more of the pigment. But again, this is Chanel, and usually they veer more towards the light, very understated side. Still beautiful, but to be honest, the Juice Contrast or their blushes, Jus Contra, whatever, how you pronounce it, there's even a little more pigment, and that I love because I think it's the most natural, beautiful looking foundation. It's a baked formula that is in the market, but this is still a bit even more sheer than that. So I was a bit underwhelmed. I was expecting something like the formula of the Chanel blushes or the Juice Contrast. Yeah, so it's definitely a different formula from that. And I think for that reason, I wasn't as impressed. I'm going to show you guys the swatches and side by side it with the Dior. Okay, so here are the swatches of the Chanel. I mean, the sheen is super gorgeous, obviously. And then you have the three other colors. This is the tan, this is the bright coral, and this is the berry. So you can see they are not as pigmented. So I'm going to put it side by side. The Dior, this is the Chanel. Like, it's almost a 180 with pigmentation, and even the formula on the pan, it feels a little rough and dry. Like I need to work my finger in more to kind of get a bit more of the product. Even the Chanel blushes have a better formula, the texture on the pan. And obviously the Dior one, this is creamy and buttery when you apply it. So just based off eyeshadow quality, I would say I would recommend this the least out of this three. I think it's pretty, but honestly, like, you need to work a bit more to let it show up. Look how beautiful the complexion of the Dior is. I mean, it's a bit more pigmented, but you can see it. In terms of longevity, I think this one lasts more with me. This one really, because it's so faint, like around the 4-hour mark or midday, you can barely see anything. And yeah, so those are the three palettes that I think are very unique and worth looking into if you want a special palette for this season. I think if I were to share with you guys my experience, the #1 value for money is going to be the Dior. The quality is the best of all three as well. And then the next one I would recommend is the Tom Ford. This formula is better than their last few launches, and the color story is so pretty for summer, you guys. And all 4 shades in this quad are beautiful, gorgeous, perform well. There's not one that, you know, doesn't perform. They all perform well, and you can make multiple looks with this, from very minimal, nothing neutral for the day, to like a true full-on smoky. Like this is like still a natural smoky eye, but if I want to do a full-on like summer glam smoky eye, you can do it, especially with a dark brown matte in this palette. Last but not the least, the Chanel. I think it was such a good idea. I think the colors are so pretty. I mean, it's still pretty if you like very, 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 and I'm talking very, very light. I mean, on the camera it even looks lighter, but in person, honestly, it's still very pretty. Like, I think this is a bit much. I think because I'm filming, like, it looks so pretty. Or like if you're going out on a special occasion, definitely the Dior. But for every day, the Chanel it still looks really pretty for just daily use. But I mean, obviously, you still would like something with more pigment, but this one is something you can use for your eyes as well. I haven't really tried this much on my eye, but honestly I think it looked better on the cheek, because I think also it was a bit too sheer, the pigmentation. It didn't really show up like this, which is what I'm looking for. The Dior one does, but the Tropical Dusk of Tom Ford is gorgeous, you guys. And the Dior one also has this kind of finished look on the eye. So that is about it, you guys. Those are the 3 palettes that I wanted to share in this video. I'm gonna keep it to those 3 for now because I don't want it to get too long. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, you can leave it in the comments down below. Again, I hope you guys are enjoying your summer. Have a great day or a great evening.